Hello, my dear friends. I hope you all guys are all doing fine today. Just a quick mic check, please. I changed mics like on position today. Just a quick mic check, and we hope to have a great show today. Hope you all had a great week. Shout out to Oklahoma. Just heard that there has been some tornado in Oklahoma and Texas last few hours. So shout out to all of you. Lot of good feelings and hope the Lord can bless all your families over there. Shout out to Brazil, all my friends in Brazil, my flat earth friends. Perhaps we are estimating now around 20 million flat earthers in Brazil. So this week I had out a video. I did a translation. Dr. Afonso, PhD in geophysics, seismology. The video is not new. It's just that I decided to translate it into English, and I will be talking a little bit about this today. Thanks, Daniel. You can hear me. Thank you so much. So, a lot of things to say. We are here because we love the Lord and we have this passion for the truth and flat earth. On the opposite side, we have Globers lying all the time. Gonna go ahead and add my friend, my good friend, RUSSIANVIDS. He's in the house. Shout out to you. How are you, my friend?
Eddie, brother, great to be on. Just starting here, right? You just connected, or what?
Yeah, just got him, man. About 3 minutes ago.
I guess my time's off because it's a couple minutes until we start according to the schedule. But that's okay. You know, looks like you
That's
started.
okay, brother.
Yeah, yeah, good, good. I'm just glad to
It's
be
it's
here.
10 a.m. here. I don't know, but I believe in New York City it's around 9 p.m. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay, we got it. So a lot of people, a lot of supports of you here in the chat room. A lot of people love you, love your work. I spoke recently with a lady in Brazil, and she told me, "Yeah, I know RV. I've been following him for over the many years. So everybody loves your work, brother."
that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. And yeah, it's really nice to get the recognition. Doing this for so long and having obviously a lot of issues. We're not going to get into that, but it's
I totally understand, brother. I'm troubled sometimes with many things. Some things I don't know what to do about it, but I totally understand
yeah.
your position.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. I'm glad we connected because we had issues connecting several times in the past. Just it wasn't meant to be, I guess, but it's meant to be tonight. And
Yeah.
just hello to everybody in the house, and it's great to be here, Eddie. And it's been a long time since we last. We communicate on email, but it's been a while since we went live together. So it's great to do this, and it's definitely a lot to cover. There's a lot to talk about, but I'm not going to interrupt your introduction. You're just starting the show, but just great to be here.
All right. So I'm gonna go over quickly about this guy in Brazil. He's a geophysicist. He came out as a flat earther. Not recently. It was a while ago, but he just like Brian Mullen, he got a lot of pressure from the system, of course. But he stood, firm. And my only problem is that he went a little bit like Rob Skiba in the later years. He became more like a Hebrew roots kind of guy, and he left a little bit of his flat earth work on the side,
Yeah,
but he's still on board.
that's important, and I really want to emphasize this, Eddie, and everybody that's listening in. This is the foundation to this world, and if we can't get this right, forget everything else. This is why Eddie, myself, and others were on the same page with this. We need to really, really harp on the foundational flat earth truth. If you don't get that right, it's like building a house on sand. Everything is just going to crumble. You have to get this right. So I'm very adamant about this flat earth truth. And obviously, it's going to be repetitive to some people, but people also have to respect the fact it's not just about you. It's about waking up people that are new to this too. So I get it. For some people, some of the information is repetitive, but it needs to be for the new people that are new to this to get it, because we need a large amount of people to get this, because what it comes down to, I'm not going to go into too long, but what it comes down to is the more and more people get involved with this, and the word gets around, and it becomes really a household thing as far as being the truth, then it's going to be a comfortable truth, because there's truths that are uncomfortable that people hide, they keep in their back pocket, and it shouldn't be that way. We should be able to speak freely about it.
Definitely. So, brother, let me just share here with the people about this geophysicist real quick. And so, guys, I uploaded this video this week, Flat Earth testimony of Afonso Gonçalves. I messed up his last name. Why? Well, in Brazil, when you have a doctor's degree or any other situation, we don't ever address the person by the last name, like we do in the US, for example, Dr. Lee, like Dr. McDowell. In Brazil, we always use the first name. Okay, so I messed up here. His real name is Dr. Vasconcelos Lopez. Okay, that's his page back when he was working at the University of São Paulo, Institute of Astronomy, Geophysics, and Science, Atmospheric. So right here, geophysicist with PhD, blah, blah, blah. And then we have here, this is a very popular magazine in Brazil, similar to Time magazine. And this is an article back from 2010 when he was interviewed. Here, there he is right here, Afonso Vasconcelos Lopes. That's the person right here, PhD in geophysics, professor of the Institute of Astronomy. And then he moved on to the seismology department. And here we have his paper. He wrote a paper back in 2000, scholarly article, genetic algorithm inversion of the average 1D crustal structure using local and regional earthquakes. He's really an expert in earthquakes. I do have an excellent video of him that I am working right now on the translation, and I'm going to add some thoughts of my own because I also studied this area. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, okay? So all the sensors that we have can actually detect water below 2,000 kilometers, about 2,500 kilometers, about 1,600 miles, okay? So, of course, the globe people don't say it's water. They say it's molten iron. But the viscosity of this liquid that the seismologists, the radars can capture is zero. So viscosity zero means water, okay? But, of course, to adapt to the globe, they say this is molten iron. And then after that, you have a solid core, which is not picked up by the sensors, but it has to be there to accommodate the globe illusion. So very important information. I'm putting everything on video this week. Takes a while to translate everything, editing and all that stuff. The another thing I want to share here, just spoke to a guy, shout out to you, Ruben. He's an American guy living here in Japan. His wife's aunt, 30 years ago, she was already talking about flat earth. And this is a website in Japanese, has a flat earth map right here. But of course, as the Japanese religion, Shinto, they focus on Mount Meru, and most of it is based on the center of the earth and Mount Meru here in the middle. But yeah, there are many flat earthers in Japan. It's just like they go by their religion and not much as we do, you know. So, all right, RV, I'll go ahead and let you have the word if you want. Share your thoughts, your rants, whatever you want to do, brother.
See here, am I on here? Because I think I muted myself for a second. You hear me?
No, we can hear you loud
Okay,
and clear.
perfect. One thing I want to touch upon. There's a lot of things I want to touch upon. Actually, Eddie. One thing is this past eclipse, the solar eclipse. There's a lot of debate of what's causing and this and that. I want to start off by saying, a lot of people in the globe side of things, they always look up at the sky as evidence for the globe or
Right.
disproving flat Earth. It's the most ridiculous thing. I said this before. If you hire a carpenter and you're gonna do some say tile work in your kitchen, and you see him constantly look up at the lights in the ceiling, and I'm standing there and say, "What are you doing?" Because I'm measuring the ground. I'm determining if it's flat. You don't do that. You look down. So one thing I would say is when it comes to flat Earth debates, which I don't think people should take part in with these globers because they're never honest. They're very dishonest people. They're in it for solely the money and their shills. And what it comes down to is literally a waste of time. You can have all the evidence in the world. You're not going to change the mind of a shill. You're not going to change the mind of a glober that has their heels dug into the ground. They're not going to concede. They're going to just deny, deny, deny. So it's really a waste of time debating them. The only thing I would say is the people listening in. That's an important aspect. If you can provide information, they'll say, "Hey, I'll look into it." But getting back to the eclipse, there's a lot of debate. It's an unseen object in the sky. We have to remember before the globe was even conceived, these eclipses were happening. So people are saying it's the government, the Freemasons or Illuminati are putting something up there. It's just funny how the book of Enoch states how the sun and the moon are equal size. So what I believe it's a new moon, and there's a lot of weird things happen. The moon's a mystery. The moon does a lot of strange things. I want to really set the foundation here, Eddie. People keep saying the words regarding the moon. Oh, the moon is semi-transparent. It's transparent. They keep putting that out there. But we have to think what we're saying. Think about what we're speaking about. Not always. Sometimes we see it as solid. For example, we see a full moon. It's definitely a solid up there. There's times that it's semi-transparent. The moon is a mystery. So let's not always frame the moon as semi-transparent when it's not always that way. Because I've seen footage where at points you can see, appears you can see stars through it. This is true, but not always. So let's not, put a label on the moon that it's always semi-transparent. But what I'm getting, I believe, and that's okay if you don't agree, but I believe it's the moon itself that's eclipsing the sun. The Bible states there's two great lights. And those are, people say there's multiple suns, multiple moons. No, I'm not going in that direction. If people can, but they're not biblical, then, you can't say I'm a Bible person and say, well, there's 33 moons and 15 suns or something, So what I'm getting at is, all truths are important. It's important to cover these things. We can't just ignore it. But my whole thing is it's not make or break for flat Earth. That's the important thing regarding the eclipse. I want to get your thoughts on that, what you think is happening, and maybe go from there.
Yeah, I'm a biblical flat earther. I believe there is only one sun, one moon, just like the Bible says. And I have on record here. You can watch some of my old videos just defending this. There is one moon, one sun, and that's what the Creator did on the fourth day. Now, other than that, it's just man's imagination and illusion. I do agree. The moon, and it's a mystery what they are. There is no way for us to know. I heard a lot of different theories, like the moon is like an ice. When we see, just like when a frozen lake, and sometimes I don't know what it is. It's a mystery. But I thought a lot about this last eclipse, and there's no way that it's other than the moon
Yep.
that is doing that stuff. It's got to be the moon because I don't know. They say there are some invisible orbs out there, but the moon, when it's a new moon, it's still up there. We can't see it, but it's still up there. And according to there is those tables of predictions that I showed one that was made in the 1800s. It showed exactly this eclipse on the this last eclipse. So it was predicted already 200 years ago and on the flat Earth map. And I did show this here. So
Yeah,
it got to be the sun and the moon.
yeah, exactly. So we're definitely on the same page with that, because there's a lot of people in flat Earth that were saying it's something else, that the quote Illuminati is doing, is creating this. I'm like, no, that's not what's happening. And one thing I want to mention too is there are some globers out there claiming, oh, how could flat earthers, how does the eclipses work in the flat Earth? Hello, before the globe was conceived by uh, you know um, Pythagoras and all these people in ancient Greece, all these individuals, they were predicting eclipses before the globe was invented. So they don't even know their own history of the globe and the timeline that this was happening even before Christ, that they're predicting eclipses. So that's an important aspect. But we are in a very tough situation because, I don't want to say this like regarding Alex Jones. It is an info wars, as in they have the mainstream media, they have the YouTube or Google algorithm. We talk about flat Earth, then people they'll Google it. Say, for example, you're on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. So the first thing they'll do is Google it, and everything leans or points that that we live in a globe, and all these debunking, videos and information. So we're in a very, very tough situation to get the truth out there. And obviously, here's something else I want to throw at you real quick. I just saw that piece of garbage, Professor Dave. I haven't looked at his channel in a while, but he made a video on Eric Dubay, the 200 proofs and debunking everything supposedly. And that guy, first off, he admitted already that he pays people to write his scripts. He doesn't do any of his animation. He's just a narrator. That none of the information is from him. He's reading off a script. So he even admit that during a live stream. But yeah, I mean, if this was a closed case, sealed deal, this would have been over a long time ago. I started making flat Earth videos back in 2015, and I said it right away in the beginning. If the flat Earth isn't the truth, it'll go away rather quickly, and it hasn't, and it won't, because this is the truth, and we're keeping at it because, again, this is the foundation of all the lies that we came from monkeys. We're living on a rocket water ball, I should say, zipping through space. This ridiculous notion. So I'm not going to go on too much longer regarding that, but just wanted to mention to you, Eddie, and everybody else listening in, that Professor Dave's at it again, trying to debunk the flat Earth truth, and he made this one video on Eric Dubay, and I don't know if you've seen that, the 200 proofs, so-called debunking.
Yeah, what I think they're seeing that flat Earth keeps growing. Like I just told a few minutes ago before you got on the show, that in Brazil now we are estimating about 20 million flat earthers in Brazil. It's growing. They cannot stop. So they are bringing back this Professor David, and he's trying to debunk, but flat Earth is undebunkable. We're not moving, we're not going anywhere. This is a station. We live on a stationary Earth.
Yeah,
Right?
and one thing I want to mention too is, like myself, like I said about the debates, it's a colossal waste of time because you're dealing with a bunch of shills. That one guy, MC Toon, way back, I think it was 2016 or 17, he challenged me to debate. And before we went on to the debate, he asked me before we went live, did you hear the news? I said, what news? He goes, yes, a NASA employee of 30 years came out and said the Earth is flat. I said, come on, stop home. He goes, no, I'm serious. I even have the video. So what happened is we had the debate, we talked, blah, blah, blah. That's the first time we actually spoke. And during the debate, I asked him, what are the dimensions of the so-called ball Earth, or the diameter, the radius, circumference? He didn't know. And he was like flabbergasted. He was like shocked. He didn't have the answers. He was so embarrassed. He goes, what does it matter? I said, what do you mean, what does it matter? That's how you get your so-called curvature rate, from the dimensions that he didn't even know. But long story short, after the show, he played a video on his channel of the supposed NASA employee that said the Earth is flat. Guess what? It was him in the back of his car uh, like being an actor, pretending to be the NASA employee. This is what I'm getting at. This is how disingenuous these people are. They're just, they're not only shills, they're trolls. So to me, I'm just putting it out there. Don't waste your time. Everybody out there debating. It's literally a colossal waste of time. Eddie, I've done it. You've done it, and you know it. When you first get into the debate with good intentions, but you're dealing with people that are not honest or dishonest. So you can't have a real debate with dishonest people that just flat out lie, a pun intended with the flat. So I'm just putting
Yeah.
it out there. Everybody in Flat Earth, don't do debates. Don't go on Fight the Flat Earth. This is what keeps them going. This is what gets them super chats and keeps them afloat. Put them out of business. Don't do debates with them, and then they'll go away.
I totally agree, brother. I have shared this several times here. I'm tired of seeing just the same guy, the same guy, the same guy. It's boring now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't like it. I don't watch it anymore. When I see the same guys, fight the flat Earth against Flatzoid, fight the flat Earth against Austin, fight the flat Earth against this guy, and then again against flat. I mean, it just gets tired. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't watch it anymore.
it's old. It's stale. It's very stale, and it's very predictable. The way they behave and the tactics they use. It's just like I said, it's just a colossal waste of time.
Yeah. I had one guy, that pilot here, and now I wanted to have a conversation, actually, not a debate. And then I saw he was connected to Mactoon. It's like they have a team, So I'm now talking to people like live, like for example, my one of my students' professor. I told him, "Hey, let me talk to this guy. We sit down at a coffee shop and just have a conversation." He's way more respectful, and we can get a lot of things from each other without attacking, without this ridiculous, what's going on.
Yeah.
Hi,
I
RV, just one thing here. This is
sure.
a flat Earth projection back from the 1800s and has this predicted eclipse. And there you see right here, that's April 8th, 2024. So since they know the path of the sun and the moon, that's when they crossed right here. Okay, just to reinforce what we were just talking about.
Yeah, and one thing I want to throw in real quick, Eddie, for those that haven't seen my video, because I have a different perspective. People are like, didn't understand. Even flat earthers were confused, and no one was explaining it properly of why the path, so-called path, of the eclipse was passing to the northeast. And a lot of flat earthers saying, "What's going on here? We thought the sun sets in the west." I said, "You have to understand. Look at the model, the flat Earth model, the AE map, where the sun and the moon circle above. So what's happening is, for example, when the sun and the moon they cross paths, obviously in Texas, around that region. So the shadowing, the eclipse is going to be going in that direction of the northeast because a lot of flat earthers are thinking, why is the sun and the moon going over the northeast? They're not. That's the area that's being blocked, and it goes in that direction. So there's a lot of confusion, and no one. I mean, I don't say no one, but very few people in flat Earth were pointing that out, how that works, and I showed that in the video, exactly how it works. And it's just, here's one thing I want to say before I forget, Eddie. I don't want to go too long, but I think it's really important to point this out. Everything in this world is pretty simple, but liars, they want to make things complex, and they want to make things based on math equations and not based on reality. And that's what the shills are doing. Professor Dave and the like, they want to talk about math equations. They don't want to talk about, like I said, the ground underneath us, what we're walking on. They want to talk about, the stars, all this stuff. But what I'm getting is they attempt to make things very complicated, and people listening in say, "Wow, that's very technical. So he must be right because it is very, a technical explanation he's giving when everything is very simple." And deceptive people use these techniques. Instead of keeping it simple, they make it complex.
Definitely right. Brother, I want to share this with you. I saw this on your channel. Now,
Yeah.
guys, I didn't know. I promoted this picture when I first saw because I said, "Wow, this guy's a flat earther," blah blah blah. And then watching one of Russian Vid's video, he pointed this out. Man, this is one eye. So this is how he did. You wanna elaborate on this one, brother?
Yeah, this is this is the one with the tennis player Djokovic, and yeah, the whole the Illuminati eye with the flat Earth. You know, obviously, but it's kind of like a little bit of marketing because they're showing it like in space, but definitely the all-seeing eye in plain sight. So what I try to explain to people in my video that I created that you see right here with this image is he's given the truth, but when it comes down to it, when it comes to masonry, they're going to play both sides of the fence. They're going to have their controlled op, and he's playing that role. He's no hero, but he's definitely putting the flat earth truth out there. And he's Djokovic Novaks as in Novaks. So that's kind of like a play on names as well. So, but definitely what I'm getting, he's playing a role. It's just like that video. Maybe we can play that video as well, Eddie, with Mishu Kaku saying there is no gravity. We lied to you. He didn't say we were mistaken or new information. He goes, there is no pull of gravity. We lied to you. So why did he say that? Because these are Freemasons. They work off duality, hot, cold, black, white, truth and lies. They must give us the truth with all the lies. So this is one concept we know about Neil deGrasse Tyson when he says this stuff is flat. Buzz Aldrin told that 8-year-old girl, we never been in the moon. Buzz Aldrin on Conan's show saying it was just all animation. They must, in spurts, small fragments, give us these truths. Because if all they gave us was lies, they're no longer working on Freemason duality. So they must give us that 1% truth, the 99% lie. So that's one thing people need to understand. And definitely, if someone's propped up in this world, they are no hero. So don't look for a hero in Trump or Djokovic or any of these people, because if all they, for example, if all these people were on one side of the fence, then say, for example, someone like you or myself will be getting the spotlight because we're the only ones speaking it, for example. So they have to insert their own people, and everybody will fall them down just a partial truth path, not giving the full truth, and that's what they like. For example, when Trump came out and he said, when I got to be careful the words I use here. When the that invisible thing showed up a couple of years ago, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, no, that thing that we had to take one of these right here. I
Yeah.
know.
Well, the first thing Trump said was, "This is the latest hoax." He's telling the truth, and people are not getting it. It's like they have to reveal the truth, you know. So that's an important aspect that they always do. But yeah, but getting back to Djokovic, you know, a lot of people are saying things like, "Oh yeah, he's a hero. He's promoting the flat earth truth, and he's against the invisible thing and the thing they put in the arm, all that stuff." But that's just to you know, like again, the Pied Piper, just like Russell Brand, another fake truth there. So we have to be very careful with these people. You know, if someone's propped up in the world, like I said, they're one of them. No one gets a spotlight on TV unless they sell out. But it's very clever deception because they do give us some truth. That's the deceptive part that people get pulled in. It's like rat poison. The rat eats the poison because it seems like it smells good, it tastes good, but guess what? It kills the rat. You know, so it's a trap. So we have to be careful with that.
Yeah, I got it, brother. Definitely. All right, so I'm just checking here if they have any questions. Yeah, I had to ban somebody here because, as I said, I'm a biblical flat earther, and I'm gonna show this Bible verse right here, right now. And I believe anybody who goes against this, the sun goes in a circle. We see at the equator. I across the equator. I live I'm originally from Brazil. When I fly to North America, this is where my father actually comes from. This region right here. There's only one season. It's always hot. Okay, and this has been pointed out several times. He's going forth. He's from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. So anybody who says the earth does not go in circle does not understand what the Bible says or doesn't believe the Bible. And of course, we cannot explain exactly the path. It's the God's, the Lord's creation. We don't know how it works, but the Bible is, it's clear. The sun has a circuit.
Yeah, this is something we talked about, Eddie. Remember, we had a back and forth about I don't even want to
Exactly.
mention I don't even want to mention this piece of garbage,
Yeah.
fake flat earther,
Yeah.
who's trying to debunk the AE map and saying only shills use it. And they're talking about things like, oh, why does the sun, when it's in the south, so-called south, near Antarctica, why is there such long days? Well, it's very simple. Just think of it this way, like a racetrack. You ever watch the Olympics where you have, like, say, a long distance run on the track where the person on the inside is further back. The person on the
Exactly.
outside lane, they put them with a head start, because when you break it down, that's going to be equal. Um, it's going to all equal out as far as the starting line. And when it's of course a straight track, everybody is lined up precisely in alignment. But when it's a rounded track, the person that's furthest from the inside of the track gets a little bit of a head start. It makes it all equal. So what I'm getting at is, imagine this. You have someone in the inner track, okay? And then you have someone on the outside of the stadium running. They're going to be running. It's going to appear much slower. That person on the outside of the stadium, when they run as fast as they can, because they're the furthest from the inside of the track. That's how the sun and the moon work. So the inside, for example, in the so-called northern hemisphere, but the inner circle, it's gonna of course the sun's gonna appear to move faster, and the outside it's gonna appear to move slower. That's why you get these tremendous amount of daylight on the so-called quote southern hemisphere, the outer ring, and it's not very simple. And they try to debunk the AE map because of the sun is light illuminating the southern tip of South America for a long period of time. It's very, very simple once people understand the concept of distance, and that's why it happened. It works like that.
Yeah, being from Brazil, we know that many times in the afternoon we were playing as kids outside, and then suddenly it's like somebody turned the lights off.
Yes.
You know, it gets dark so fast. It means it's because the sun just moving faster.
Yeah,
This is a picture.
yeah, Eddie. I'm so glad. You have that ready, or just pulled it up?
I found it right now.
Okay, so this is exactly what I showed in a live stream on my channel. So this is just, they're only feet apart. I mean, these are just feet apart on this track. So you see
Yeah,
the number eight runner who has a head start, because the
right.
person on the inside has, it's going to all equal out. This is why they have it set up that way, because the person in the inner track obviously will have a great advantage if they all start at the same point. But what I'm getting at now, move that number eight runner further out. Not, they're very relatively close. Now put them like just outside the stadium. Now imagine how much of a head start he will need. It'll be even further up, because, like I
Right.
said, that's just how it works. But that's the best analogy for people that try to debunk the flat earthers that try to debunk the AE map, when they say, why is the sun in that region for so long hovering? They don't understand something so very basic and simple, of how things circle within a circle.
Right. And also, we have uh, you don't have much land as they claim that there are extra land. No, we have, and I have studied this a lot, read back and forth. I believe from 75th degrees south, there's only about 3,000 miles, if the most, because that's what, uh, according, to, I don't know how much we can trust, but according to Operation, I think it was like a deep freeze, and that's how far they were able to get. And then they moved back because the airplanes were crashing into an invisible barrier there.
Yeah.
So, which is the dome, of course.
One thing I want to throw at you, Eddie, it's really important, is people involved with truth. There's a lot of egomaniacs that they want to be the source of information. We're just reaffirming what the Bible states.
Right.
Nothing's new under the sun. You and I know this, but there's people out there that want to disregard. They want you to go to them for the answers when everything is in the Bible. And people say, "Well, it's just the Bible." No, because what the Bible states matches our reality. You know, that's one thing I try to harp to. This is one thing that people, Christians that try to mock the flat Earth truth. I say, how many times does it say in the Bible the Earth has ends? How many times in the Bible does it say the Earth is does not move? It's built on foundations. It's on foundations. It does not move. It's immovable. And someone tried to bring up earthquakes. I'm like, are you kidding me? So if there's a rock slide, that means Earth is not movable. If there's a rock slide or an avalanche, earthquake, they're very desperate because they don't want to go in that direction. But what I'm getting at mainly is this: once people take a stand in the beginning, when you introduce flat Earth, if they say no and they're very firm about it, now they already dug their heels in. It's going to be very difficult for them to get past their ego and say, yeah, I was wrong. Especially if you're making video. If you're a video maker and you say flat Earth is not true, and you say to your huge audience, for example, now you have to admit to your audience when you find out that Earth is flat. Now you have to tell your whole audience you are wrong. They don't want to do that. They're going to stick to the what they said in the beginning because they feel like I'm going to lose my whole audience. Now I admit I'm wrong. I'm going to lose all my credibility, and they're going to leave me because I admit I'm wrong. Now I am no longer trustworthy. I'm not a good source of information because I admit I was debunked. So that's a major problem as well with a lot of people on that side of the fence. That's why I tell people, don't be married to anything. Have an open mind. For example, if you're in truth and something new is introduced, don't reject it right away. Say, I got to take a look at it. I got to analyze it before anything. Too many people in truth were, a lot of people in truth were just against flat Earth. But now, of course, we've seen what happened, the gradual, obviously people jumping on flat Earth truth. And it's fantastic. You put up all those videos, those TikTok videos, the compilation videos of all. It's good to see just normal people and you're spotlighting it all on your channel. That's powerful. And that helps the momentum grow with flat Earth truth.
Yes, but it's although they are running out, like TikTok has been censoring. Many people
Yeah.
are feeling discouraged because editing is always hard, and they edit a video about flat Earth, and then just to have TikTok taken down, and it's becoming rare. Like I've been looking more and more, but it's refreshing to see how so many people coming out and declaring belief in the flat Earth. It's still refreshing to see. So one more thing throwing out, like how more of a biblical flat earther. Every day I have to admit that I have to become more and more because this information from these geophysicists, I didn't know. I know that the radars, the seismology radars and the ground penetrating radars had picked up a liquid deep inside the Earth, maybe 2,500 kilometers, around 16 miles, 100 miles. But what I didn't know is that the viscosity of that liquid is zero, meaning it can only be water. It cannot be molten iron. The viscosity is zero. That's water right there, and that is abundant water. And that's what the Bible says, Second Peter, right there. But they deliberately forget that long ago, by God's word, the heavens existed, and the earth was formed out of the water and by water. So that's that we are confirming through ground radars and seismological data that Earth stands upon water.
Yeah.
Okay, that's biblical right there. We cannot deny this fact.
Eddie, I want to throw something in real quick. I've demonstrated this many times when it comes to the lies of science. Based on the whole principle of the law of reversal. of people like Aleister Crowley, where they said obviously that this Earth formed first with land and water came later. So everything is on the duality aspect. They said reptiles. They say reptiles became before birds. Well, the Bible says birds before reptiles. So they always
Right.
flip everything. The sun being far away when it's closer. So when people understand, they work out this whole duality. They're given us the when it's A, they give a Z. They work off this whole principle, and it's throughout the whole list of items from creation is the opposite. How Earth was formed. One thing is funny about science, it's kind of like mockery, where they said when Earth first formed, it was a large disk. This is what this is obviously what science says. It's not observable. They're just like a mocking. They're saying Earth was a disk at one time, and then it formed into a ball. So it's just mind games. But one thing I want to say is, everybody needs to watch that video with Michio Kaku where he says, "We lied to you about gravity. There is no pull of gravity," and that's huge, because the whole principle of the globe requires gravity, the pull of gravity, to work. This is the foundational thing, and they put it out there. And this is really, once you throw this at globers, like on Twitter, I had arguments with globers, and I show them the video, they're completely silent. They keep saying the word gravity, gravity, gravity. I tell them, do you know what the word gravity means? It comes from the word gravitas, which means weight. It literally means
Exactly.
weight or heaviness. So if you step on a
Exactly.
scale, is it what's going to gravity? It's just. But the thing is this. That's why they say get them while they're young. But the main thing is this, Eddie. I have to really throw this in here. When people are taught about the globe, they don't have discernment. They're 3 or 4 years old. They don't have the ability to discern anything, and they just accept it. And guess what? At 3 or 4 years old, they never question again. They don't, like I said, at 3 or 4 years old, you don't have the ability to discern. That's programming to the finest. There's not a group of kids in first grade, second grade, sixth grade, in high school saying, "Do you think they're lying to us?" They never question. They have no idea, and they don't know how to question anything. All they know how to is take in information and then repeat it. That's it. That's all they've done their whole lives, and they grow up to be adults doing the same thing. And that's the sad situation with this all. And what happens is this. Go look at any video with people that ridicule the flat Earth. They don't put facts out there. All they say, all they do is, try to make jokes, try to be funny, try to be witty. They have no facts to hold to prove their points. It's like, there's all these flat earthers all around the globe. These kind of things. They all repeat the same stupid stuff. But they don't bring any facts, and all they do is get upset. They get angry, but they don't bring any, again, facts to the table.
Definitely, brother. Yeah, you got it. Let me just check here the chat real quick.
Yeah, let's take a look at
And
it.
I'm gonna go ahead. Can I go ahead and link your channel here? Put in the chat.
Yeah, great, brother. I appreciate that so much. Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
all right, guys. Let me share my screen real quick. This is, some people ask me, well, I can't find a, Russian Vids website anymore, channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste this, and there are a couple of videos really interesting there.
Thank you, brother.
All of them. So check it out. He is here debunking. Man, I can't stand this guy, this Faulkner guy, man. I can't stand that guy. Just can't
Easy,
stand
bro.
it. He's
Just
a
like,
liar, man.
yeah, he's horrible. That guy, and he even showed that the all seeing eye, the Illuminati pyramid. But yeah, these people are transparent. They're extremely transparent. These people, and it's very difficult because I hate to say it, but there's some people that call certain events real as well. So find good, honest people, well-rounded, not only good at flat Earth, but all the deceptions in this world. It's very hard to find. That's what I try to pride myself on is not only a flat Earth truth, but all the other lies in the news, the media, the music industry, how they give us truth in movies, in music, and lies in the news. So it's really important to understand the whole concept. Flat Earth is the foundation, but the whole concept, I look at it this way, Eddie. I'll break it down simply. It's like that map behind you, that is the AE map. You have a wheel. It's like you have the media, you have the politicians, you have the actors, you have the musicians, you have the televangelists who never give you the real truth. They'll give you a truth about certain aspects, but they're not going to tell you about the flat earth, and they're not going to expose the lies of the media and the government because they're taxed. They're taxed, obviously. That would hurt them as far as their church. Basically, the church will be gone if they spoke the real truth. So they will give us a certain amount of truth, and that's it. What I'm getting at is, to control a matrix, you have to control every aspect. Imagine if the churches said, "Hey, they're lying to us about these events. I don't want to mention these like school events, but hey, the government's lying to you." They don't do that. So this is how you're controlling the matrix. And what I'm getting at is, take a look at these televangelists. They're all doing the Masonic hand signs, So they give you one truth, but then they give you the lie about the government. They protect the government and the media. And so we have to have good discernment and realize how they're pulling this off. They're controlling everybody. Really quickly, when I first got involved in making videos on YouTube in 2008, 2009, and I was looking at the media and all the lies, I said, it would be a lot of people involved. Then I started looking at all the people involved with the media, and I seen them doing Masonic hand signs, like Anderson Cooper and all these other people. Even like George Carlin giving us truth, and this comedian giving us truth. He's been on network news, not network news, but he's been on network TV since the 60s. And what do you see him in the 60s doing? Masonic hand signs. So what I'm getting at is, all these people out there, they're part of the matrix. Some are giving us all lies, and some of them are giving us a partial truth. And that's the best you'll get from them, is partial truth.
Definitely right, brother. All right, guys. I'm gonna, brother. I've been playing a song every. Oh, let me answer this question real quick here. Someone is asking, Eddie, have you any idea of the closest distance can get to Rupus Negra, to try and get the people a real picture like we have of the ice wall? Thanks. So what I know is that the Canadians, they have a base at 82 degrees north, and Trudeau talks about when he was a child, he was taken there and he saw his dad and a whole bunch of guys, and he looked through the windows and he says, that's when I figured out how powerful my dad was. So that's what I know. They have a base there, but any citizen, like a regular citizen, I don't think they can go anywhere above 70 something degrees north. Never heard of anybody who went there. Like a civilian, anywhere above 70 degrees north. Do you have any idea, brother?
Well, that's one thing I want to mention is, how they're really guarding Antarctica. Only, like, besides guided tours, only quote scientists can go there. Do they have a situation in that region where they're guarding it, like people can't go and explore themselves? That's the question, because I think all aspects of the flat earth reality are important, but these are good questions. And the main thing I would ask is, are there limits to exploration by private individuals in that region of the world? And that's the first thing I would ask before you even go any further.
That's right. So, brother, I have been playing a song every show. Okay, so I have one song here to play. People ask me, hey, why don't you do like a radio stuff, play more songs? So I decided to play one song every show, all right, a flat earth related song. So so we can both take a quick break, all right? I'm gonna play this 3 minutes song, all right? Be right back. So let me hide this comment first, guys. So I don't want the comment in the. All right, guys, we're gonna take a 3 minutes break. I'm just gonna play this song real quick. I'll be right back.
Since the beginning of mankind, people thought the earth was flat. A giant disk underneath a firmament dome. The earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, science told us we live on a globe. A spinning ball shot into infinite space. They want us we're nothing but random stardust. Meaningless. But they're wrong. They lie. Wake up. The Earth is flat. The Earth is flat. Is a hoax. We never landed on the moon. Do you believe we're living on a rotating ball flying through space at thousands of miles per hour? Where is the curvature? Where? They control our minds. They control our thoughts. They control everything. Think twice. Think again. Wake up. The Earth is flat.
Hi guys, we're back here. I'm gonna share a little bit here. If you guys want to support the channel, go to my Flat Earth Banjo store. Got Planisphere star view there, high resolution. There are all the stars above the flat Earth right there. Okay, pretty good. Here's the Southern Cross right there, and we got a whole bunch of maps, right? And apparel, anything. So if you want to support the channel, this is a good way. Gonna go ahead and paste this. And shout out to Iron Horse. He's in the house. We are moving to our 20 more minutes of show. So
right.
we're back here, brother.
Yeah, what I want to say is, there's a lot of things to talk about, and obviously this is not scripted. We're just like, joining together and just talking about random stuff. One thing I would really emphasize to people, they really have to think long and hard what's happening with, like I said, I'm against the whole debate thing, but we could talk about what is being stated in these so-called debates. For example, Globers keep talking about a model. Flat Earthers don't have a model. Show us a model. I can easily show a model of water being still in a bowl, a plate, a lake, a pond, whatnot. Show us a model of the water sticking to the side of a ball and the bottom of a ball. See, they're always on the offensive. This is what people in Flat Earth need to be, is a little bit more aggressive with them. Don't take like punches in a fight. You got to punch back, reverse it. They're always saying that, they're their weakest claims. They try to throw it back at you. No, you cannot even have your foundational lie of water sticking to a ball. And like I said, the whole aspect of physics with water, impossible, for a water stick to a ball. And again, not to be repetitive, but Michio is saying, we lied to you. There is no pull of gravity. He didn't say we were wrong. New information said, we find new information. He goes, no, we lied to you as a group. He's saying it as collectively as a science group, we lied to you. And one thing I would tell idiots like Professor Dave is this. He goes, well, all these school teachers lying. I'm like, not one of them has seen the curve of the Earth. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson stated that Felix Baumgartner didn't see it from that so-called space jump. It's the fisheye lens camera. So these are foundational things we need to throw back at them and be know the answers, don't even think about it. Have that answer in your head when asked. So, for example, when I talk to people in public about flat Earth, I'm like sharp with everything. You have to be quick and not be like, well, I want to present the flat Earth truth, but I'm not ready to answer questions. Then you should not be presenting it yet. You got to make sure you have everything in order. Get all your ducks in order when you present it, because you don't want to that person to walk away. So you know what, that guy's a flat earther and he didn't know a lot, and I stumped him on things. Make sure you have everything in order before you go out there and present the flat Earth truth.
Got it, brother. And I know I always show my model here to people. Say, oh, you don't have a model. I do. That's my model.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, I've seen it before. I love this. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. And again, they can't. I did this as a joke back in 2015. In a video, I got a lemon. Like I got a bowl like you do, but not like so fancy like you. I got a bowl of water, right? And say, look, this is, and I had a couple of things in there. I think some, I forgot what I put. I put some things in the middle, like Tupperware or something in the middle of the bowl showing the flat Earth model. Then I got a lemon and I poured water over it. I said, look, this is your fake phony globe. Water can't stick to it. So, but I love your models. Very, very animated and all the nice, very well put together.
Yeah, but we went to a meetup in a Japanese restaurant, and those jars, they come and pour water into your glass, and then I said, oh, can I have some of the water? I filled it with water. I left it there. Man, the Japanese people, they were like taking pictures and making films, all around, man.
What you should have done is then show them a photo or online the video from Sydney, Australia, from that park, where it's basically exactly what you're showing with your model. What was I forgot the name of that Sydney park. I made a video about it.
Yeah. It's they call Flat Earth Fountain, but it's sparkling.
It's in Sydney, Australia. I'll tell you, I know. I forgot the name. Darwin Park? Was it Darwin?
No, it's not. Darling
Park. That's it. Yeah. And not only that, in the building, in the interior, they show a flat Earth clock as well. So yeah, I love the little boat. I love this whole thing. It's really good. Also, too, we should remember the encyclopedias, the old encyclopedias from the 50s. They talked about the height of the dome. There's so many things that are out there that. But again, I think this one, I forgot his name. This one Russian KGB agent. What was his name? I forgot his name. But he said something very, very important. He goes, in this world, truth doesn't matter. Programming, you can give all the information, all these authentic proofs to people. You can show them authentic proofs. It will be denied because programming is stronger than any evidence you can show them. Factual evidence will be ignored. And that's the sad situation about it. I forgot his name. Yuri, was it Bezmenov? It might have been Yuri Bezmenov, I think it was. But anyways, it's a sad situation, but that's how it is. Eddie, when we first get involved with truth and we show people stuff, we think this is going to be so easy because we're going to show them real evidence. And then it doesn't matter because some people are like, no matter, you can show them, like a perfect example, Buzz Aldrin telling that little girl, we never land on the moon, and they'll still make excuses. I showed a man that lived on my street that video. I told him about the moon landing being fake. He's a scientist. He said he's a scientist. And I showed him that video. He was in shock. He goes, yeah, he said it, but what about Neil Armstrong? I said, but didn't you just admit what Buzz Aldrin just said there, that he just stated to that little girl, we never been there, and that's the way it happened. And after that, he was I seen his face. He was like in huge shock. But yeah, that's what happens. People are just in the defensive mode.
Yeah, this geophysicist that came out as a flat earther, I was watching one of his videos. He had 2 books on seismology. One is like practical seismology and how he could actually criticize the book. And there is one theoretical seismology and geophysics where he is not allowed to criticize the theory. He's only allowed to criticize the practical. Like they go and say, okay, this is not working. We gotta fix this, blah blah blah. He's able. He can, with his degree, he can criticize. He can make critics videos upon, but at the same time, he's not allowed to criticize the theory. You see, what he was like. This makes no sense. Why can't I criticize the theory? He was extremely frustrated.
Yeah, is when you're in the position, in his position, you have a lot of authority, and when you come out with these kind of truths, you're gonna get a lot of blowback. It reminds me of that one pilot who was wearing that mask during that one flight, and someone walked up to him and asked him, the pilots know a lot. I want to know, what do you think about the flat Earth? He goes, and he laughed. He goes, I don't think it's flat. I know it's flat. And
Exactly.
the thing is, he didn't know he's being recorded. So I'm not sure what happened to that pilot. I think it was for Delta pilot for like 30 years. And also, one thing I forgot to mention, I got to mention this right now before I forget. I apologize, Eddie. It's off topic, but it relates to you. It's with Bart Sabrell. He was
Yes,
kind enough.
yes,
He was kind enough, and I want everybody to know this about Bart. What a gentleman he did, because Bart, one of his people behind the scenes, had one of Eddie's videos removed. Just a short clip used by Eddie, but the copyright strike down the video and it was removed. I contacted Bart about this. Bart is such a gentleman. Bart is a great guy because he did everything in his power to make sure that strike was removed for Eddie. So big shout out to Bart Sabrell for that. And also he did a live stream, not a live stream, I'm sorry, a podcast with Joe Rogan, 3 hours. Now here's something. Joe Rogan denies that the astronauts landed on the moon. He knows that. But for the show, he has to take the other side. He's taking the side of, they did land on the moon. That tells you what's happening here, this controlled situation. Joe Rogan knows the moon landing is fake. But during the show, he has to take the position that it was real. And it was very frustrating for Bart to deal with that. Because I messaged
yeah,
Bart. He told me it's very frustrating to deal with someone that he knows that the moon landing was a hoax. But during the so-called debate, during the show, he took the position of the moon landing is real. And Bart said it was very exhausting to deal with that, knowing that
yeah,
he actually, behind the scenes, he agrees with them. Very
yeah.
sad.
So guys, what RV is saying is like a couple months ago, I got in a strike because of a 7 seconds footage that it belonged to Bart Sibrel. And then I contacted RV because I knew RV had connections with him. And he intervened, and Bart Sibrel went ahead, instructed his friends, and they removed the strike. It was really nice. So shout out, thank you. I always wanted to say this live. I did say a couple of months ago. So thank you, RV, for helping me out with this situation. Shout out to Bart Sibrel. If someday he wants to come over here and have a show with me, he is welcome.
Yeah, Bart, he is very selective of who he does shows with. One thing about Bart and I is, for some reason, Bart really likes me. He's very hard to get a hold of with a lot of people, but it's like, I don't know how to say it. It's like friends or people you get along with. It just sort of click. And Bart and I, we just really click. And a lot of times he doesn't really do shows with many people, but I'll definitely, we'll reach out to Bart and see if he can come on your show. But the thing is, we already know where he stands about flat Earth. He really is, he has his heels dug in with the globe. But one thing I greatly appreciate about Bart, I did 2 or 3 live streams with Bart Sibrel. In one, he did tell me, he goes, look, RV, I could be wrong. Maybe we are on a flat Earth. He did concede that at one point when I asked him about the firmament. I asked him about a lot of things. I asked him some hardball questions. He goes, I could be wrong, but to him, it's about salvation. But I explained to him, I said, it's very important to get the foundation right of this world we're living in, and this Big Bang explosion. Like that's another individual. was Vincent Rhodes, the preacher man who followed me back in 2014, 15, 16 when I started making flat Earth videos. He said in an interview that he was ignoring what I was saying about flat Earth, and then he said he started looking once I said the reason they're hiding the flat Earth truth is they want to hide God, And once he heard me say that, he started looking, because how I framed it was the Big Bang explosion removes God from the equation of creating this world. So the Big Bang removes God, and that's the huge aspect. That's evolution, obviously, and that's what it all comes down to. They're trying to hide God. And when they hide God, it makes these so-called leaders of this world, it makes them gods. It makes them the most powerful, because there's just evolution. We just happen from nothing, and they're the most highest. And when you remove God, and that's what it comes down to. People ask me, but what about the dollar? It says, in God we trust. But which God is that? There's a one-eye God on the back of the dollar. That's their God, Lucifer or Polaris. So I want to be very clear about that when people say about that. And also, too, the U.S. dollar is green like a serpent. So everything is by design. Everything is, not by random. Everything is definitely, these people are very calculated in the way they operate. But getting back to Bart, that'd be great if you could have him on your show as well. And hopefully one day he'll come aboard the Flat Earth Truth completely.
I will definitely send him an invitation. And I have seen he has been in other podcasts, which had only like 500 views, So he is probably friendly enough to consider that. We will see. I want to give a shout out to Cindy Holland. She's in the chat now. Cindy, ex NASA uh, uh, professional, working behind, I think, the F-35. Uh, U.S. Air Force. She was based in one of those U.S. Air Force. So shout out, Cindy. If you're ever going to be on the show, you would be more than welcome. And we will have Mike Smith, I think, next week. And also, I'm going to have someone from Jerusalem. He lives in Jerusalem, Samuel, I don't know his last name, but he's been doing some great videos about flat Earth. So I'm interested in having him here on the show. And then I should go back to doing only 2 shows a month, because this special I want to be here every week, but at the same time this week, but on Tuesday I had 2 episodes of Rapid Heartbeat. So my wife told me take it easy, take it easy. So I might go back to do only 2 shows a month. I don't know.
Just take it easy. Yeah, take it easy and just go with the flow. I wouldn't make any promise. I'll just say, hey guys, I'm gonna take it day by day, week by week, and we'll go from there. One thing I want to mention real quick, I see Canuck in the chat. He says Joe Rogan was pretty well arguing with Bart. Yeah. Well, the thing is this. Again, Joe Rogan knows the moon landing is a hoax. He's just playing a role on. That's how fake everything is. Joe Rogan, I don't want to get too much in this, but Joe Rogan basically, he knows the moon landing is a hoax. He knew it before, and then what happened was, I've been around for a long time. I remember Joe Rogan was the biggest advocate for the moon landing, besides Bart Sibrel being fake. Then he had the supposed podcast with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Neil deGrasse Tyson changed his mind. But reality, that is just, staged for the people to believe that. Really, behind the scenes, Joe Rogan knows the moon landing is a hoax. So the whole premise of the argument is that was just for the show. He knows the moon landing is a hoax.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. I saw an old video of him on TikTok, just like denying, man, they didn't go to the moon. They didn't go to the moon. And
one thing I want to mention too, this is off topic, but it's really important for people to understand this regarding the world stage. A lot of people, this is not regarding flat Earth, it's just regarding everything else about this live system. They're not only faking a lot of these, quote, tragic events, they're faking the feel-good stories too. For example, this one young boy, he's supposedly an orphan, lost his parents, and so on and so forth. It's just an actor kid. During one segment, they're in his the reporter's in his bedroom, has like orange wall painted orange, and then he says, I'm going around the country. My goal is to give 33,000 hugs to people throughout the whole United States. So, well, people are saying, but what's the objective? What's the purpose of faking that? They're controlling. They don't care about real people, real stories. They want to control everything. It's their script. They look at it's their world. They only want to put what they want to put. And that's simple. You know, one thing I want to mention is really important. Now, getting back to truth, is the crazy weather that's happening around the U.S. There's a lot of tornadoes and this, droughts in some areas. It's a very strange season this year with the weather. Now, I want to put this into perspective that gives the truth again in movies and music. I remember back when I was younger, there was this movie called Flash Gordon, and they had Ming the Merciless in his spaceship looking at Earth. And on his control panel, he had the buttons for hurricane, for storms, for earthquakes. This now go back. Now fast forward a few years later, in 1984, I watched this cartoon called G.I. Joe. In this one episode, they had a weather machine, and this weather machine controls the weather of the world. So what I'm getting at is, I believe what's happening is chemtrails are not what we're told. I truly believe that's part of the manipulation of the weather. Like when they're spraying, for example, on the coast of Northern California or the whole California coast, it's preventing certain clouds from entering or pushing clouds away. There's something going on. So what's advertised with Jesse Ventura about chemtrails, I always said this from the beginning. Well, they got to breathe the same air we do as far as the air being poisoned. I believe it's misdirect, because that show Conspiracy Theories with Jesse Ventura, he said, they're poisoning the air. Well, all these, I showed in this one video, Barack Obama back in, was a 2009, I made a video about, quote, chemtrails. And Barack Obama is giving a speech in front of the White House, and you look above him, and there's all these chemtrails. So if it's poison, what's going on here? So what I'm getting at is, I truly believe the chemtrails are part of weather control, and they're giving us hints about that. So I think that's a big aspect too, about if they're pushing something, a conspiracy in one direction, it could be something totally different. So we have to be very careful, with all the so-called like TV shows with Jesse Ventura, conspiracy theories, and just giving partial truth is what I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah. Control opposition,
Yeah, exactly.
Totally control. All right, guys. We are almost at the end of the show. Unfortunately, a lot of people are joining in now. And we've been gone for almost an hour and 22 minutes now. And before we go, let me just, someone asked me for RV's channel. I placed in the chat. Okay, that's the link for RV's new, not so new, but the latest of his 10 channels that have been delayed.
Yeah, more than that, I think. But yeah, I appreciate that, brother. It's a rocky road, and it's very difficult. And one thing I'll tell you this too, this is the truth before we close out, about people involved with truth. I was here before you see all these people, before, all these so-called flat earthers. I'm not going to say any names. I don't want to get involved with that right now. There's a lot of people that showed up very late. I was here way back 2008, 2009, making videos before basically everybody showed up. What I'm getting at is, it used to be free reign, where if I made a video, you type it in the search, it'd be right there. Now I'm completely buried. You can't find me. But what I'm getting at is this: a lot of people got involved with truth. Like, I used to have videos that got 4, 5, 6 million views, before the algorithm went into play. So a lot of people saw that were not video makers at the time. They're saying, oh, look at this. These conspiracy videos are getting a lot of views. They got involved with truth because they're failed musicians, failed actors. So this is the way to get famous. So what happened was, after they jumped aboard a year or two later, the algorithm was changed, where they put that bar like flat earth or Illuminati. So what I'm getting at is, if you're dealing with real truth, you're going to be buried. And it's very frustrating for me, for someone that had huge channels, millions of views in videos. I mean, it was like automatic. Now, for me to get a video with 10,000 views is high. When I used to get videos over 100,000, a million views without
Yeah,
problem
yeah,
before. So it's a
yes.
what I'm getting at is it's everybody's in truth is involved. It's very difficult to get the real truth out there. We're buried. It's a sad thing.
When we first got to know each other, like it's 2016, when you mirror one of my videos about the flight routes.
Yeah.
I remember, brother, the last time I saw on your channel, that video had 350,000 views.
Yeah. Yes, I remember. Yes, yeah. I mean, it was you did fantastic work, and I remember that, and that's when
350,000 views, brother.
yeah, it was crazy. My number one video was when SpaceX first doing the so-called reverse landings. I made just like a 3 or 4 minute video, and it got like 5 million views, and it was covered in the media, from LA to Colorado to Florida to New York, Canada. It got around everywhere. But those, like I said, those days are long gone. One thing I want to mention is Elon Musk. This is really important. Is he's on Twitter like as a truther, and I tweeted to Elon. I said, you're the biggest lying piece of garbage. You're presenting yourself as a truther. If you're a real truther, you would admit SpaceX is a hoax. Of course, he's not going to respond, but he's like on Twitter presenting himself as a truth speaker. To me, it's hilarious, and many people actually believe Elon's for them. He's the most obvious controlled op, and it's a complete joke, and it's a very sad situation. And unfortunately, in this world, majority rules and consensus rules, and that's why it's so hard to get the truth out there. But we're doing the best we can to get the flat earth truth out there, and it is growing. And we can never give up on this because it's very vital. If we give up now, Eddie, I'll stop here. If we gave up now, it's all of our work will be for naught. So we have to keep moving forward.
Yes, definitely right. So you inspire me, brother, as all you have been inspiring me all these years, and I hope you inspire many more people. And I'm going to go ahead, brother, and thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. This is your house. Anytime you want to be here, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks so much, Eddie. Everybody in the chat, thanks so much for tuning in. And until next time, have a good night and God bless.
Thank you, brother. I'll go ahead and kick you out of the room.
All good, brother. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. It was really a pleasure for me to have RUSSIANVIDS here. I have learned a lot with his videos over the years. And it's an honor for me, having him here. And I do extend my invitation to you, Cindy. You're here in the house. You're here in the chat. So anytime you want to be here, I will be probably deleting my Facebook account in the next few days or weeks. I've been struggling with that. I no longer like Facebook ever since the whole thing that we could not post any of the videos about the magic portion right here. And they kept taking down the videos. So I grew disgusted of Facebook. But I use it for a lot of business there. Many of my students are there. But I plan to get rid of my Facebook, I don't know, next month or so. But it's nice to have you here. And anytime you want to be here, shout out to many people, Mark Flatlander, Vika Draziv, all the crew from Flatten the Curve, the movie, all the pilots who were involved in that project. And, to my Brazilian flat earth friends, Sétima Visão was here in the house. Oh, guys, a lot of love to you, flat earth love. And I want to close with the Bible verse, 2 Peter 3:5. But they deliberately forget that long ago, by God's word, the heavens existed and the earth was formed out of the water and by water. So earth rests upon water. What the Bible says is true. There's no magic liquid iron, molten iron on the nucleus of earth. It's just water. So guys, I'm going to close. this one more. Thank you, Lord, for one more live stream. And I'm gonna close with this song by David J. Caron. Shout out to you, David. You do wonderful work. So God bless you guys. I'll see you the next time. Next week we're gonna have a Canadian Mikey. I forgot his last name. Smith. See you guys. Bye bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, hydrogen with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up, 10 temperature, left for dead, trapped in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, let there be light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever short time pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, we see through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no there. Stars on the firmament, turn along around us, to forever short time past geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystic, so luminous light, fantastical, magical, breathtaking, we see through you like air. Magical, angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Motionless, with us, we see through you like air.